Okay, so we're going to look at the structures of a long bone. So what are long bones? They would include your humerus and your femur, but any bone that has an axis that is longer than it is wide. So there's other bones like your radius and your ulna and your tibia and your fibula in your body, right? So when we look at the long bones, we can talk about the ends of the bones. And this is called epiphyses. So we have the distal epiphysis, and we have the proximal epiphysis. So this is the ends of the long bone. So remember that distal is furthest away from where you are connected to your axial skeleton. So like we're talking about in terms of your humerus, your proximal one would be the head of the humerus that attaches to your scapula. The distal epiphysis is going to articulate with your forearm bones, right? The radius and the ulna. And so those are terminologies that you learned from chapter 1. So this is the ends of the bones. Now they are covered where they come together with other bones by articular cartilage. So they are covered with articular cartilage. What type of cartilage is articular cartilage? It is hyaline cartilage. It is generally shown in blue in your textbook. Then we have the shaft of the long bone, and this is called the diaphysis. So this is the shaft. And this shaft of the bone is generally hollow. So it has a hollow space, and it has what is called the medullary cavity. So has a hollow center called the medullary cavity. That's a, oops, let me get that back there. Eraser. No, that's not the eraser, is it? No, I guess it is. Okay. So the medullary cavity. This space could be filled with red bone marrow, or it could also be filled with yellow bone marrow. So we talked about the difference between those two different types of bone marrow. So let's look at our diagram of the long bone. Oops, that's not the one I wanted to look at. Well, we'll go to the other one. This is a diagram, but I wanted the one that is not labeled. So we'll go to the whiteboard. Okay. So this right here is the epiphysis. Because it is closer to where the arm, the humerus, is attached to the center of your body, this is called the proximal epiphysis. Okay. The blue on the ends of your bones, this would be articular cartilage. This line is actually showing the spongy bone. Now, this is a bone from a person that has stopped growing. And so we're going to call this right here, this line, we're going to call it the epiphyseal line instead of the epiphyseal plate. So in a person that is not growing, your plates have actually closed, your growth plates, and it is a line. So this is what we call the epiphyseal line. Okay. This outer surface, you probably can't see it in this diagram very well, but it is blue. So we have connective tissue that covers the outside of our bone, right? And they actually show it right here. Oh, right there. That is called the periosteum. So that is connective tissue around the bone. Here they're showing compact bone, and I'm running out of space here. Compact bone. So that would be like right there. And then the space, so I'm going to put my little diagram here, and I'm going to say this is my medullary cavity. Okay, it is filled with fat, and so this would be yellow bone marrow. So this is the fat that is inside of the bone. When I look down at this end, this is the end that is going to connect my radius and my ulna. And so this is what we call the distal epiphysis. The center shaft is called the diaphysis. Okay, so those are the structures that you need to know on this diagram. So for example, I could have these unlabeled on the test, and you would be able to need to be able to identify them. It could be on the lab practical, or it could be on the midterm or the final exam. So you need to learn the different parts of the long bone.